Hello everyone, it's Mariners Fanatic, and today I will be going over my predictions for the 2021 season playoffs and World Series, as well as who I think will win the major awards, such as MVP, Cy Young, Rookie of the Year, and a few others. So I'm not uploading this on the usual Friday, as I wanted to get this out before the season. This is also in follow-up to my most recent video predicting the standings for each division in both leagues. So if you didn't see that video, go check that one out. I'll link it in this video. But I'm not going to waste any time, so let's get into my predictions for the 2021 season. So starting off, we're going to look at the comeback players of the year. Now, both these guys have been injured, and their 2020 seasons were essentially lost. Jordan Hicks had most of his 2019 season taken out as he had to get Tommy John surgery. And Yordan Alvarez is still kind of recovering from both knee surgeries. The Astros are hoping he can get back to form. But for the NL, I have Jordan Hicks, who is the closing pitcher for the St. Louis Cardinals. And then for the American League, I have Yordan Alvarez, who is mostly a DH and sometimes plays a little bit of left field or right field. But I'm assuming because of the knee surgeries, he will probably be a full-time DH. I'm excited to see both these players back from injury this season, and let's hope they have a good year. For relievers of the year, I'm going with Peter Fairbanks of the Tampa Bay Rays in the AL and Josh Hader, left-handed pitcher for the Milwaukee Brewers. Now, Josh Hader is a bit of a normie pick. A lot of people will probably have him or his teammate Devin Williams as reliever of the year. I think Hader's going to take it. He's got an electric fastball, his slider's amazing, and he's still in his prime. I don't expect him to start dropping off for another couple more years. And in the AL, I actually made this pick before Nick Anderson went down with injury, but now I'm even more convinced of this pick. Not very many people are high on Peter Fairbanks, and I'm not really sure why. Besides giving up a home run to Mookie Betts in the World Series after they were already losing, he had an amazing 2020 playoffs. I'm expecting even bigger things from him. I'm excited to see both these pitchers, and those are my picks for relievers of the year. Rookies of the year. Now, I baited you guys a little bit with Kelenic on the thumbnail. I think Kelenic has the ability to win the AL Rookie of the Year. I hope he does, but I know that he's not going to have a full season. And Bobby Dalbec has been announced as the Red Sox starting first baseman, and unless something changes, he gets hurt or struggles, he's going to have a full season, whereas Kelenic, who's probably not going to come up till May, is at a bit of a disadvantage. So I have Dalbec for the AL. He showed crazy pop in limited time at the end of the year last year, and I think he's going to continue that trend. If he can cut down on the strikeouts a little bit and prove that he's good defensively as well, then this guy's going to be a star for the Red Sox pretty soon. And as I mentioned, I do have Jared Kelenic as the runner-up. In the NL, I have Ian Anderson. Ian Anderson had a really good year last year when he came up, pitched well in the playoffs. There's not much to dislike about Ian Anderson. I think a lot of people are sleeping on him and kind of forgot that he had such a good year because the Braves choked it in the playoffs. For runner-up, I have Ke'Bryan Hayes. He is an electric player. I think he's going to do really well, and I wouldn't be surprised if he won it. And there's some other guys that have potential to win Rookie of the Year, but these are my top two picks for each league. For Cy Young, in the National League, I have Yu Darvish, and in the American League, I have Garrett Cole, with runner-ups in the AL being Shane Bieber, and in the NL, Jacob deGrom. Now, pretty much everybody's picking Jacob deGrom, and he probably will win it again. I wouldn't be surprised. But I'm going to go with you on this one, because Jacob deGrom has to face better lineups on a regular basis, with the Phillies with Bryce Harper, Alec Boehm, JT Realmuto, Gorius in the Phillies. You've got that Braves lineup, which is insane. You've also got that Nationals lineup with Juan Soto and Trey Turner. So Jacob deGrom, he's proven that he can pitch in that division, but it is still a tough, tough division with a lot of good hitters. Whereas Yu Darvish, really all he has to worry about are the Dodgers. The Diamondbacks aren't doing much. Their lineup's not all that impressive. The Rockies are on the downward trend, not a very impressive lineup there. And the Giants lineup is kind of in the middle of the road, not too exciting. So I think Yu has the advantage here. Ultimately, I think this comes down to who's going to face better competition. And if DeGrom can excel, he probably will win it. But I'm going to take you just to be a little different. And then for the American League with Garrett Cole there, he's involved with the whole foreign substance scandal. But honestly, regardless of whether he would have that, I still think he's a good pitcher. And I guess we'll see this year. If he can prove that he is a Cy Young winner this year, then I think it puts those foreign substance things to bed. And Shane Bieber, who won it all last year, I think he's going to be really good, but I don't think he's going to be as solid as he was last year. Last year he was dominating, but he also got to face entirely lineups of the AL and NL Central, which were the weakest divisions in all of baseball last year. So he had that to help him out, and I don't think he's going to have quite as much success as he did last year. And I've seen a lot of people talking about Giolito winning the Cy Young. I'm not buying it. I think Giolito's really good, but I don't think he's elite yet. All right, moving on to the MVP winners. Now, these are some pretty standard picks here. Nothing too surprising with Mike Trout in the AL and Ronald Acuna in the NL, but there's a lot of guys to choose from. And my runner-ups, I've got Jose Ramirez in the AL and Bryce Harper in the NL. I think Bryce Harper is going to go off this season. He looks really good in spring training, and I know it's spring training, but you get a feel for a guy, and he looks really good. Mike Trout has made comments about how he wants to get better. And when the best player in the league is saying he wants to get better, then he's on lock and he is going to perform this year. I don't know if it'll be good enough to carry the Angels to the playoffs, but I'm always excited to watch Mike Trout. I was close to going with Jose Ramirez, but I have a sneaking suspicion that Ramirez will likely get traded at the deadline if the Indians are struggling. So I couldn't put him as my number one pick just because I think there's a possibility he could get traded. He could go to the Braves. And so I have Ronald Acuna in the NL. I think he's going to have a 50 home run, 50 stolen base season. I would love to see it. It would probably be the first time it's ever been done. At minimum, he's going to go 30-30 and probably 40-40. But either way, Ronald Acuna is an exciting player. There's a lot of people going with Juan Soto, and Juan Soto is really good. Got to give him credit, but Acuna's defense is better, and I know a lot of times they take into account hitting mostly, but his defense is better than Soto's. You could also go with Mookie Betts here. That would be another great choice. There's like 5 players in each league that you could probably go with. I thought about Anthony Rendon for the AL too. So there's a lot of options. A lot of people are going with Aaron Judge too, but I'm not counting on him staying healthy. If he was healthy, then I'd say yeah. I don't believe he's going to play a full season, and that's what it comes down to. Staying healthy, playing a full season, and absolutely popping off, and that's what I think these two guys are going to do. All right, so moving into the first round of the playoffs. You can kind of see the graphic there of where I'm going with this, but starting off with the wild card round, if you watched my divisions video, you saw that I had the White Sox behind the Twins by only a game, and they're going to snag that number 1 overall wild card position, home field advantage, and the Blue Jays are going to be going up against them. But I think the White Sox are going to take it. Either way, that matchup excites me, seeing the White Sox versus the Blue Jays, but ultimately I think the White Sox edge them out. They both have potent offenses, but what it comes down to is the pitching, and I think the White Sox have better pitching there. So moving on to the ALDS, I've got the White Sox versus the Yankees and the Astros versus the Twins. Now, I'm probably a little high on the Twins than I should be. The likelihood they could miss out on the playoffs this year. But I think that this year is a turning point between whether they break things down and get rid of the older players and kind of take a step back, or they really send it and try to get to that World Series. Their lineup is still really good. It's always been a question about the pitching. But interestingly enough, when they lost to the Astros in 2020, their hitting didn't do anything. So we'll see what happens. But I think this time the Twins are going to finally break that losing streak in the playoffs and beat the Astros and get revenge on them from last year. And unfortunately for White Sox fans, I think the Yankees are just too good. As long as they can stay healthy, Corey Kluber and Jameson Taillon are who they should be. The Yankees are going to be a scary team to face all year, and you're not going to want to face them in the playoffs. So I have the Yankees and the Twins moving on to face each other in the ALCS. And unfortunately for the Twins, they're not going to be able to break their curse of losing to the Yankees. They will lose to the Yankees in the ALCS. Yankees will move on to play in the World Series. This will be a 5-game series. I forgot to mention that. ALDS, White Sox Yankees, it's going to be a 3-1 for the Yankees and a 3-2 for the Twins. In the ALCS, it's going to be a 4-1 Yankees over the Twins. All right, moving on to the National League, starting out with the wild card game. Dodgers are going to claim that number 1 spot, while the Mets will be the second wild card team. Now, it depends on where the staffs are at. DeGrom, normally I would take him in any day of the week, but who knows if they'll be able to line it up correctly and get to be starting that wild card game. The Padres pitching is fairly comparable, and the lineup is better. So I'm going to take the Padres heading into the NLDS against the Dodgers, and we have the Brewers versus the Braves in the other matchup. Now, starting it out, the Dodgers are going to win the regular season battle versus the Padres, but the Padres are going to get a chip on their shoulder, and they're not going to forget last year when they got swept. And they are going to take down the Dodgers in 5 games in LA. And they're going to shock the world and beat the defending champs and move themselves on to the NLCS, where they will face the Braves, who will sweep aside the Brewers in 3 games in the NLDS. I have a lot of confidence in the Braves. I know a lot of people aren't very high on them, but I think they're still really good. That lineup is amazing, and I think their young pitchers are too good to count out. So the Braves are going to beat the Brewers and move on to the NLCS versus the Padres. And this is where the Padres' luck is going to run out. Last year, the Braves went toe-to-toe with the Dodgers and they choked it. This year, they're not going to let that happen again. They are going to beat the Padres in 6 games and move on to the World Series. Either way, I'm excited for the National League side of things. I think that's going to be more interesting than the AL. I honestly think the White Sox could push the Yankees to the brink, but ultimately I think the Yankees, if they don't make the World Series, it is a complete and utter failure because the AL has a lot of competitive teams, but not as many powerhouse top tier teams as I think the NL does. So, moving on to the World Series, we have a mid-90s rematch between the Braves and the Yankees. And I hate to say it because I do not like the Yankees, but I respect a good team. And I think they're a really good team, and they're going to take this World Series in 6 games, 4-2 over the Braves. Even though I have faith in the Braves pitching, I think ultimately it's going to run out. And that Yankees lineup is just as good. They're going to go toe-to-toe, and the Yankees are going to come out on top in 6 games. Well, there you have it, guys. Those are my predictions for the awards and the playoffs this season. I think it's going to be a really, really fun year. I'm excited for this season of baseball, probably more than I have ever been excited for a season. So we'll see what happens. Of course, you guys are welcome to have your own opinions in the comments, but I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'll see you guys next time. Mariners Fanatic, out.